amazing to see. Okay, I was just going to say we might want to record too, but
Yep.
um, so obviously our journey kind of happens from the very beginning of life, right? But one thing that definitely, I mean, like he talked about, we had an accident just after, like 6 months after we were married, and so that was a profound awakening point for me. And at that point, it kind of felt like worlds kind of diverged. It's like you have a game plan, you have going a direction, and then something happens, and it's like, okay, I'm going a totally opposite direction now. So that was kind of the start of that. And then that kind of led me into, as he said, he was in personal development. When I met him, I was a massage therapist and just barely dipping my toes into energy work and recognizing like what it actually can do for us and how it is profoundly influencing our life. Everything around us is energy. And so that was kind of the introduction into that realm for me. And later on down the line, a few years ago, I, I I lost my dad, and that was another profound impacting point in my life. I watched my dad go from, I mean, we knew there were issues. We knew we had, there were some health things that were going on. They had been for years. But I watched him go from healthy to a degree, to having a massive heart attack, having open heart surgery, kind of having his own massive awakening, and watching someone change so much in 11 months. And I went, if we can change and shift that much in 11 months, when it's just kind of things that are happening to us, right? Then what could we potentially do in our life if we were consciously creating it and consciously moving forward? And so that was really when I jumped into kind of the coaching realm. And I wanted to know all about the psychology. I wanted to know all about, neuroplasticity. I wanted to know all about, how our brain works, why we do the things that we do, what are the things that we run up against. And so that was another profound, time in my life that I just, I wanted to know what was going on. Um, and it was also another big part for me when we had kids. We had this beautiful baby boy, and I don't know about any of you if you have if there, mamas in here. I went through kind of like that identity crisis of who am I? Why am I here? Um, you kind of get lost in the being of, the mom and the wife, and you kind of lose who you are sometimes. And so I kind of went through that journey as well. So my journey has just been really looking at what makes us tick, what are the beliefs that hold us back? What are the neurological things that come into our existence, and how does that pair with the energy side of things? And so that was kind of my journey. And like he said, Dr. Sue has been a huge influence for us and a mentor of ours. And I also mentored a lot with Manny Morris and Oliver Nino. And so they were a lot of my big mentors that really opened up so much of this realm to me, and really figuring out, what will allow us to move forward and what kind of keeps us stuck. So I think tonight what we wanted to do is just kind of see where everybody's at. I think this call has some, can you, I guess, let me know in the chat if you are here from Beginner's Blueprint or if you are here from Money Moves 2.0. And then that will kind of give us an idea of where everybody's starting, because there might be some people in here. Okay, both. Perfect. Okay, perfect. All in. Love it. All right. Both, both. Okay, so we have a lot and all ins. Awesome. Okay. All right. Then I guess the next thing that we want to know is, is this new topic to people? Is this something that you guys have, heard about, learned about? Or is this the kind of something you're like, I don't really know what these people are talking about? No clue. Okay, perfect.
Love it.
A new for me, a bit of both. Okay. Want to go back to the basics. Okay.
New. All right. We
Thank you
love it.
so much for the feedback because that gives us a good idea of where to go new to wealth energetics. Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I guess, well, I'll hand it over to you, honey, if you want to kind of start with it, and then I'll kind of
Sure.
add in it to you.
Yeah, no, thank you all for sharing, where you're at and in that. And there's no shame in not knowing, right? We were at that place at one point too. I think one of the phrases that always resonates with me is we build on the shoulder of giants. And much of what we've shared has come from people before us that have figured it out, right? And that's just kind of the way that the life goes. We have people that help us along. So wealth energetics for us is just understanding the correlation between wealth, and wealth isn't necessarily money. Wealth is abundance. Wealth, you can have a wealth of health. You can have a wealth of happiness. And our mentor, Dr. Sue Morter, she talks about, she's got a great quote that just resonates with me so deeply, that wealth isn't about the material things. When you truly have wealth, it's really how that wealth is a part of you and starts showing up in your outer reality, in your life, right? So it's not necessarily money and I'm wealthy because I have a big bank account or a big pile of cash. It's more of an internal feeling that you have of, I am wealthy because I have a beautiful family. I have a thriving business. I am in my flow. I am in my power. I have happiness. I have a wealth of these things. And when it comes from within, it's a natural law of the universe that it's going to start showing up in our outer reality where we actually have that. And Dr. Sue talks about it's the materialization of our wealth. It comes from within first, then it shows up in our outer reality. And this is why a lot of times you hear of very wealthy people that they look like they have a big bank account, but they have cancer and they're on their fourth wife or their kids hate them, right? It's because they don't have internal wealth. They have materialistic wealth in monetary form, but they're missing that internal part. So the wealth energetics for us is really a holistic view of our life. And do we have wealth with our money? Of course. And this course, what you're learning here with Money Moves 2.0 and the beginner level, is so much of giving you those foundational steps and what to do to build a business, how to reach people, how to market, how to communicate with people, how to convert people, right? Those are all skills that you are going to be learning. But there's also the internal work of what does that look like? And how do we actually manifest that in our outer reality? So the wealth energetics is really understanding that we have a brain, we have a mind, right? That we can think thoughts. We've heard of our conscious mind and subconscious mind. How many of you have heard of those two things? I don't want to get too technical, but we have both, right? And we hear of working on our mindset, improve our mindset, improve our thoughts, to not think negatively, but to think positively, right? We hear of these things. These are very common thoughts in personal development, personal growth. And there's other aspects, other systems that control our body. And the largest governing one is our magnetic field that surrounds our body. And we have a magnetic field that controls our heart and is around our heart. We have a field in our gut. We actually have a second brain in our gut. Many people don't know this, but that's where a gut feeling comes from, right? How many of you ladies have an intuitive ping, right, of something with your children or something that you just know to be true? You can't explain it, but there's this internal knowingness that, like, I know this to be fact. It's because of we have this other brain in our gut, and there's a tie-in with the bacteria in the gut and what that produces for there's actually twice as many neurons in our gut than there are in our brain. And a lot of research in the last probably 15 years or so at the Heart Math Institute has talked about how there's a coherence in the heart, and the heart is actually the third brain. So we actually have a very intuitive, powerful process and systems of our body that nobody told us about. We never have learned this. We didn't learn this in school. We didn't learn this in college. Nobody's talking about this except for the people that are teaching personal development, personal growth. And so what we're talking about with wealth energetics is learning that we have this system, learning a little bit of the basics about how it works, and then how we can use that to benefit our life and show up differently and more powerfully in our life. And with this business that we're wanting to do here with Money Moves 2.0, and at whatever level you're doing it at, if you're an affiliate or you're building your own brand and doing your own course, whatever level you're wanting to play, it's how do we show up at a greater version of that, right? And as we get started with any new venture, you're excited about the possibilities, right? You heard through some, information through some marketing that there's this possibility that you can do this too. Others have done it. You can do this too. You can improve your financial situation. You can improve your business. You can improve the level of freedom that you have in your life and what you feel around money. You can do all these things. But now that you're here, you're in the course, maybe it's not happening as fast for you. And then there's fears coming up. There's doubts about your capacity to do this. Did you second guess yourself? Did you jump in too early? Do you have what it takes to succeed? All these things start to come up now, right? And this is the wealth energetics of it. This is the trueness of life, right? We have something within us that told us we needed to take this step. We needed to get in this course. We needed to better our situation, maybe for ourselves, maybe for a spouse, maybe for our children, maybe for our grandchildren, maybe just for your freaking sanity, whatever it is. And you're here and you needed to know what to do to get out of your way now because you're seeing that, hey, maybe I didn't have that first sale right away. Crap, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't have the skills. Maybe you're freaking out a little bit. Okay, so now that these things are coming to the surface, I'm seeing some yeses in the chat over the last few minutes as I'm talking. I'm seeing some head nods. If any of you are willing to either put in chat or come off mute and share, I'd love to hear this. I want this to be an interactive call because this is one of those things that you're going to get out of these calls what you put into it, right? We are here for you. We're here to help you get to the next level. And there's so many levels of this that we can help you on from the beginner all the way through and helping you to see what you need to do the next step, helping you identify blockages and things that are holding you back. And actually, we want to, on this call, not just give you things that are going to tickle your ears and make you feel good for a couple of days and you go back to your same crappy patterns that aren't going to produce. We want to actually do things on this call that help eliminate those at an energetic level so that you can feel more freed up after these calls to go out and do what you need to do. You're going to feel less resistance in your life or in around the things that are showing up if you play full on. So I would encourage any of you, if you want to come off mute, share with us, put it in the chat. No judgment here. This is a safe space for you guys to share, to be open. We're like-minded people here. We're all going generally towards the same direction. And we want this to be something that, you can, if you've got something on your heart, like I need help with this, please share it because that's going to help you move faster. But as you do that, there's probably somebody here that's not willing to do that. Maybe they're not at that place. And I was there many years ago. I didn't want to open up and share those things, but it will help the person that's not willing and ready yet to do that to step forward. And maybe your situation is going to help them too. So keep that in mind as well. So Lisa, I see your hand raised. I'd love for you to share what's on your mind.
So I work a full-time job. Just got started in this. So trying to do it early in the morning before I go to work and late in the evenings, it's exhausting.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to be brand new at something and try to get it all to sink in and know exactly what to do, when to do it when you're already exhausted before you start. But not so much that I hate my job, it's that I need to be with my mom, but she's getting more elderly and not able to take care of herself. And have the freedom, to be able to work from home and be with her and not have to hire a stranger to come in and take care of her. So that's my goal. It's just getting there.
Just getting there. Okay. All right. Very good. So how many hours in a week do you typically have that you're able to allocate towards this, in the mornings and nights, weekends?
I have been working between mornings and evenings, 2 to 3 hours, Monday through Friday, and then a few more hours on the weekends.
Okay. And then how much of that would you say is between like education, learning, absorbing all this information, getting it, in your mind? And then how much of
98%.
that, what's that? Sorry.
About 98%.
98%. Okay. So do you feel like that's a good balance for you right now, or do you feel like you need to be doing more action with what you've learned? Do you feel like you've learned enough, or do you feel like I need to learn more in order to take action?
I still feel like I need to learn a little bit more
Okay.
because I've really not been in it but a little over a week.
Okay. So you're brand new. Okay. So that's definitely understandable. I think there's always that balance, right? As we start something new, that we have to know enough to feel confident enough to take action, right? So, but it can also work against us. And I work with a lot of agents on the financial
Who is
side,
it?
and it's very similar with
Who
with
is it?
them to
Who is it? Okay.
It's very similar for agents in the financial space to want to just be on trainings, learn about product, learn about strategy, and never go out and talk to anybody, never take that action. So you're a week in, so definitely keep learning, keep absorbing. Are you on the calls every week? If you're, I don't know if timing works out with a full-time job, but are you able to get on some of the calls with Joy and others as they, are helping with, answering questions and getting you up to speed?
My first one was this past Saturday, so I've been on
Okay.
every one since.
Okay, cool. I mean that's probably the biggest thing that you can do to expedite this process is lean into the leadership here, lean into the people that are before you that are doing it, that can see what you can't see yet and give you the shortcut on, okay, keep learning these few things. Now it's time to implement, right? So follow their guidance. So I think you're a week in, don't be too hard on yourself. You're a week in. You're doing great. You're learning. Keep that up. Keep learning. Lean into the support that's already part of this community and part of this course. There's the school community. If you need to get on there and ask specific questions, lean on that. And I think gauge yourself as you continue to go through this process after another couple weeks. Are you able to implement? Are you able to take action on the things that you've learned and the coaching that you've gotten? And then if you're not, if you're feeling like, man, I'm scared, I'm fearful, that's where we can come in and help with that. Give us a message on there, send us a private message if you want to do that. We're here for that because that's something that's very common is we learn enough and then it's actually time to take what we've learned and actually implement it and execute action steps with that. And I guess at what level are you wanting to do this, Lisa? Is it going to be like affiliate marketing? Are you wanting to build your own course and that? What are your, thoughts on that at this point?
My thoughts right now is starting out as affiliate.
Affiliate, okay. So, the things that you're going to need to do that, there's going to be things you're going to probably need to be stretched a little bit. Might be a little uncomfortable as you start to do those things. So monitor that. You might be great. You might be like, hey, I've learned this. Now I'm ready to take action. You start to take action. You start doing it. And maybe results don't show up as fast. So just keep monitoring it. Keep us posted. We're here to support you in all this. And thanks for sharing that. But I think, you're on the right track. You're doing the things that are going to set you up for success. So a quote that I heard years ago in the personal development and in the network marketing space is keep doing the right things long enough consistently and you will see success, right? So you're doing the right things, you're learning, you're getting mentorship and support. So just keep doing those things and, the path will become clearer as you move along as to what next steps are, where you're going to need extra support and help, and just lean into the community. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And I'll kind of jump in really quick and just kind of add, like, give yourself grace, right? This is a huge, like, the fact that you even moved forward in that decision is already big because it's saying and it's claiming, I want something different, right? That's kind of a scary thing to put out there, really. Like if you think about it, you know what I mean? Like that's a big step in itself. They always say the first thing or the first step is taking the action on it, right? So you already took action on that next step, saying, okay, this isn't lining up for me. Like I need to create a new existence and reality for me to be able to be home with my mom, to be able to take care of myself still financially. And so give yourself the grace. Naomi is on this call. She's my beautiful, beautiful friend. I love her so much. And she jumped into this world not knowing anything. And that's what she did. She spent like an entire week just divulging information. And then she just started taking consistent action, consistent action, consistent action. And she has massively made strides. She also has done a lot of the inner work too. And so that's where you kind of have to gauge, like, if I am literally just starting out in all of this, sometimes we see people and we see them like take right off and we think, man, that could be me. But there might be, like Jeff was saying, there might be things that come up as you're moving through this that you start meeting a lot of resistance. When you start your own business, you are going to find out where all your blocks are. It's a spiritual process, it's a growth process, it's a heart process, it's a mind process. Like it is literally the whole thing. And so that's where, give yourself the grace and the space. And the other thing is comparison kills action. So if you guys are comparing yourself to somebody else, your story, your situation, what you're doing is very different from somebody else. You don't know what they have going on behind the scenes. They don't know what you've got going on behind the scenes. And so it's just giving yourself that grace and space to just do you. If we're trying to mimic somebody else in this space, or we're saying, oh, look, they just made, this much money in like a week. Well, they might have, 8 to 10 hours a day that they could put into it. You have no idea. So it's just really kind of keeping your focus in your own lane, if that makes sense, because it's so easy to want to compare ourselves to somebody else. And as soon as we start that comparison, you are going to have so many things come up. And that's where we can really help as well. And so I just wanted to throw that in there really quick because I think that applies to everybody, no matter what level you're at, giving ourselves the grace and the space to move forward and to say, this is my journey and this is what I get to make of it. And whatever someone else is doing, like cheer them on. I'm so glad. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you. And I am so excited to join you there, because then if you stay in that positive mindset, there's, like one of the things that we had in our notes is really thinking about there is so much negativity in the world right now. There is so much negativity all around us at all times. From the moment we are born, it is look at all the lack. It is look at all the negative. It is look at all the, I can't, I'm not worthy. I don't have enough. I'm, all the things. So we have this huge ball of negative energy that kind of starts. And so once we can kind of start to shift that ball and move it from, shrink our negative ball and our positive ball starts to become bigger. And one of the exercises that I found extremely helpful for me that you guys could do is make a list of all the times that you have been successful. It doesn't matter what it's in. It could be, I was successful at having a baby. It could be, I was successful at starting a business before. It could be, I took action on one thing. That's a success. And so many times we want to wrap our success around these big, grandiose things, right? And we have to remember that each little step is a success. So celebrate your successes and also look over your life and look for the things that you have done and the things that you go, oh, I did do that. I am worthy of that. Like, I do deserve this. Like, okay, I can do this, because what will end up happening is you have that list out there for you. And so when you have all this negativity coming in, telling me I don't have time, I don't have whatever, then you can look at that list and go, okay, mind, I hear what you're trying to do to me. Like, you're trying to keep me safe. That's your job. You're trying to, say like, nope, don't do that. That's too scary. And instead, it's like holding us back, right? That's that subconscious mind kind of running. And so when you can actually tangibly show your brain, nope, that's not true. Look at this. Nope, that's not true. Look at this. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. Doesn't matter how big or how small. If you show those little things to your mind will go, oh, okay, because it's always looking for proof. That is what our mind does. It always looks for the proof. And so if you can do those things, I've seen in the comments, rewiring your limiting beliefs. I've seen in the comments, I don't feel worthy. I don't deserve the money. Let's see. So there's like all these it's just our mind running, right? It's our mind telling us all the reasons we can't, and it's trying to protect us and keep us safe. That's its job. And at the same time, we get to then, as you can start to pick out those moments and recognize those patterns of, oh, I wanted to move forward on this and I held myself back. Why was that? Oh, it's because I have a belief that if I do this, I'm not safe. If I do this, I'm going to fail. If I do this, like for me, like we'll talk about the money issue. Okay, how many people in here have ever heard money is the root of all evil, or have taken it that way, or have heard, money doesn't grow on trees? One of the famous things that I heard growing up is if you're rich, you're screwing somebody. And it was like, oh, dang, like, okay, I can't be rich because if I'm rich, like I'm hurting someone. I'm causing harm to somebody else, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, yes, it is the love of, yeah, I know. That's a whole other topic. We can get on that, Ben. He said the love of money, so many twists. Yeah. So those are all things that our mind is doing just to keep us safe. And we can just say, thank you, beautiful mind. We love you. We see you. We understand you're freaking out a little bit. And here's what's really going on. And so as we can start to show those things, like No, look, I took action here. No, look, I was successful here. No, look, I did this. No, look, I do deserve this. You know what I mean? All those different things that we can start proving to our mind because that's what it wants. Then we can start flowing and we can start going. And as your mind continues to start to quiet a little bit, as it starts to recognize, like, oh, we got this. Like, we really do deserve to have money. We do deserve to have what we want to, like, what we're wanting to create. Yes, exactly. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Yes, yes, exactly. And so that's part of it too, is recognizing this is a beautiful, beautiful tool. It is one of the most amazing transmitters that we have on the face of this planet. And it can also work against us. So that's where, when we look at all these limiting beliefs, if you, yep, I'm just going to go back up here, procrastination. Let me see. Yeah, there's just a ton of them, right? As far as the money blocks, I feel I'm having a hard time making the sales. Brain fog. Yep, that's a real thing. My job is taking my sanity. Anxiety and fear, making a mistake, right? Okay, how many of us started off in school and it was like you couldn't make a mistake because that meant a bad grade, right? So we were ingrained that mistakes are bad. Mistakes aren't a win, mistakes are bad. But if you think about all the successful people in the world, they have failed so many times, but you know what they didn't do is give up. And I love the quote that talks about, I failed 10,000 times until I found the right thing. You know what I mean? So it's just that consistency. It's that continuing to show up. It's looking at ourselves and going, okay, I did this week. Now I maybe need to shift and pivot and move a little bit into this next week. So it's just that consistency. It's just really being able to show up and give ourselves that grace in that space of recognizing that our mind is trying to keep us safe. It is trying to make sure that we're not going to fail, that we're not going to make mistakes, that we're not going to do all the things that could quote unquote cause us harm or hurt. But in so doing, sometimes that actually does more harm and hurt for us, right? So it's then getting curious with ourselves and kind of starting to recognize where that mind play is kind of running. So then you can watch it and observe it and say, oh, okay, I'm starting to see the patterns here. When I want to show up and make a video or whatever it is, then I go into freak out. Like, I think even Joy did this, like when she was first going on TikTok, like all of us girls got on there and we're like, go, Joy, like you can do this, you've got this. And it's like, I mean, it doesn't matter what level you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. It applies to every single person because even if you get to the next level, you're going to have new blocks that come in. When you get to the next level, you're going to have different blocks that come in. So it doesn't matter. I hesitate and start cleaning. I love it. Yeah. So and that's all, those are all things that are trying to keep us safe, right? So I know there was someone who else wanted to answer or ask a question. So, but I just wanted to share that really quick with you guys and kind of give you that tangible thing that you can do to really help ingrain into your mind, like, no, I've got this. And I will keep looking for the proof that I can do this and I can show up and I can handle this. All right, let's see. Sean Marie, you got a question?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I watched your module, by the way, the Wealth Energetics, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so my thing is the very end of January, I purchased a digital marketing course. I purchased at SWC. And I wasn't even like fully through that and learning to resell yet. And then I was introduced to Money Moves. So I kind of did like a flip flop from one to the other. So it has taken me longer to get to where I am. but I feel like, January, February, March, like I'm into my 4th month now and I've made one sale, you know. Um, what I'm having an issue with is connecting with people on my lives. Like I feel like my true self isn't coming out. Like I'm not connecting with them. And I don't know how to do that. Like I've tried, but I feel like I'm sounding robotic. I don't know. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I
Mhm.
absolutely, I 100% know what you mean, because that was one thing that I recognized when I got on my lives, was it was like you don't have anyone in front of you, right? So you kind of feel a little bit weird because you're like talking to nobody.
Yeah.
So do you connect well with people in life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a best friend?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to them.
Yeah.
Like literally get on the live and just act as if you are having a conversation with them, because then you'll bring in your true authentic self. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. I just but like
Because
you said, it's like you see nobody's on there, right? And I
yeah,
just I don't get people engaging on my lives. So I have a really hard time with getting comments from anybody. So but I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing.
okay.
Uh and it gets frustrating each and every time I'm doing it, right? And then I feel like I'm just getting worse and worse and worse because I'm getting so frustrated. It's like a endless cycle, right?
So
Yes,
Yeah.
let me give us a couple of thoughts here.
absolutely.
I think everything you're talking about is totally natural, totally normal. Anytime you're doing this, you're not seeing success. There's nobody on the other side. You're not getting what you feel like is positive momentum. It's easy to
Yeah.
get discouraged when you're starting out, right? You have maybe a little bit lower belief in yourself, in the process. Is this going to work? Can I do it? All those things come up. It's totally natural. My advice with this is what I talk to a lot of my agents about is there's a lot of things you could do for sure. I think the easiest one is you've got a community of like-minded people, and you've got people that you could go to get specific help on this. Now, this specific question isn't my expertise, right? How do you become more authentic on a live? That's not my expertise, right? But what
Right.
I do know is that there are people in this community that can definitely answer that question. There's probably a handful of people, if not a ton of people. Let me ask this. How many of you on this call right now would be willing to hop on one of Sean Marie's lives, watch her, support her, give her a little bit of feedback that's constructive from love, right? And help her move along with this? A bunch of you would be, right? So
Yes.
here's what I want to encourage you, Sean Marie. Lean into this group. This is a community
Mhm.
that wants to see you win.
Yeah.
So lean into it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This is something I've had, ask my wife, this is something I've had to learn. Ask for help. It's
Yeah.
okay to do that and realize if I just took that action, my success could come a lot quicker because they're going to be able to collapse the time down. What if you had 50? I mean, there's how many people on this call, right? 33 people on this call. I had no idea how many people were going to be on tonight. I didn't know if it would be five. I didn't know if it would be two. I didn't know if my wife and I'd be talking to ourselves tonight. You never know. But when you have more and more people on, it's going to give some momentum. It's going to raise your confidence, even if it's people in the community. You can get the
Yeah.
ball rolling. And we know that the algorithm is going to look at you more favorably if 10 people from this community get on and start interacting with you. It's going to boost the algorithm. And so don't hesitate to reach out and ask those questions. Hey, who can support me? I need some help. Can a handful of you jump on at this time on TikTok or whatever platform you're doing? Give me a little support and help get me going, right? And point
Right.
out some things. Maybe here's one of the things that I've learned when I'm working with clients on the financial side. One of my coach in this, he's like, Jeff, you need to smile more. You look pissed off when you're talking to people, right? So sometimes just having more of like a smile, like a stupid smile, like make these
Yeah.
muscles sore after being on live for a long time, that
Mhm.
can change. And ask my wife, I've shown up differently in with her, with my children, with everybody that I interact with. Now that I'm aware of that, I'm aware of I need to just look more pleasant. And when
Right.
you look and do this, it changes your mental state, right?
Yeah.
Mindset work can sometimes be the physiology playing into the mind. So it can
Right.
sometimes be little tricks and hacks like that maybe a few of us on here could be like, hey, Sean Marie, you said these few things that you might take out, or you
Right.
might say these few things, right? Sometimes have you ever heard of the book 3 Feet from Gold? About the guy years and years ago that gave up digging for gold because he didn't think his success was there. Somebody else came in and he was 3 feet from gold. He gave up just before he was ready to strike it. And how often do we do that in our lives? We say, nah,
Right.
it's not working. Success isn't for me. And we
Mm-hmm.
give up, right? Instead of reaching out, go, I need some help. I need a help up. I need some
Yeah.
assistance. So I would
I
encourage you to
have
do that.
I have noticed like when I'm doing videos of me talking to post on TikTok, I'll do a video and I think I am being cheerful, but then I'll play it back and I'm like, that's not what I did, like it's
Yeah.
so yeah, when you're seeing yourself, I don't know, it's weird, but
Mhm.
yeah, and then I'll do it over again and try and be more cheerful. It's yeah, it's hard,
It's a
but
skill set. It's a muscle that you develop. I know when I first started public speaking back in 2011 and you're in front of people and you have to it's kind of its own think of this. Think of what athletes do, right? They play a sport, they play baseball, they play basketball, whatever. They watch tape of themselves back and say, "Hey, in the game I went left and I should have went right. I didn't read what the defender was doing." So with this is a skill set and a muscle that you need to develop. And so
yeah,
what you're doing is awesome, watching it back and doing that and even just getting on, hitting record on your phone and just recording yourself and just practicing, getting those reps in and being
yeah.
your own critic. You can say, "Oh, I could have done better here. Great. Hit record again and implement it." Do that a few times, boost your confidence. So,
It's
um,
funny because in person, my husband always says like I could sell cars
mhm.
because that's how personable I am with people, and like we're resellers too. I sell a lot of stuff. So people come here all the time to buy stuff, and he's like, "You're always so friendly with people and everything." He's like, "You should be selling cars, you know." But then when I go to do this, I'm like, "What's going on?"
Mhm.
you know.
Yep.
So I don't
Yep.
know.
So yeah,
It's different.
thank you
So
for
can
sharing that. Hopefully that's helpful. I would lean into, the community, ask for specific help from the coaches that are willing to give you more fine-tuned specific advice because it's their area of expertise. And I think with a few tweaks, you can start seeing the momentum build and you'll start feeling a lot different and it can totally change your paradigm. But, don't
Yeah.
let, and I'm seeing a couple other comments here, don't let it's hard, I'm not seeing results right away, steer you away from doing this, from following through. One of the quotes I heard years ago was the definition of character is following through on a decision long after the excitement and emotion of the moment has passed. And that's something if you feel strongly about what you're doing with this and you're wanting to change your financial life and help other people, following through even through the difficult times, right? We have
Right.
challenging times, and just because it gets hard doesn't mean it's a no from the universe and a sign that we need to give up. It can actually mean we're on the right track, and it's
Hmm.
it's bringing to the surface an area that we need to grow and improve so that we can actually get to where we feel like we need to get to, right? So don't let
Right.
the challenge be the no and say, well, if this was meant to be, it'd be easier. It would be flowing by now. Not
Right.
necessarily. You're probably on the right path. This is what Dr. Sumorter has taught, is you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. And sometimes the things that come up in our life we see as like, oh, this must be a sign that this isn't for me. No, no, no. It could very well be that you're exactly where you need to be. And it's just time to reach out for help, dig a little bit deeper, whatever that
Right.
might look like to get through to that, and that you're absolutely where you need to be, learning the lessons you need to learn, and the things that are coming up in front of you are right there at the right time, helping you grow. So
Okay.
we're coming up on the top of
Thank
the
you.
hour here. I wanted to, oh, you're very welcome. There's lots of comments. I wish we could get to everybody. I wish we could stay on for the next 4 hours and powwow and like give all this stuff. But I want to honor your time. I want to honor our time as well with all of that. So I want to give a couple final thoughts, and then I want to do, if you guys are up for it, I want to not just talk about some things and let things be at a mental level, but I want to do what we can on this call because there's something powerful with group energy. When we're all together, we've been together for 50 minutes now, we're all talking about like things, we're all probably thinking through of like, oh yeah, I'm stuck in this area. I'm feeling, fear here, all these different things, right? And what can we do to move that needle a little bit? So I want to do a few minute energy clearing at the end of this that will Well, some of you may not notice the thing because some of you are new to this and it takes a while to kind of realize what's going on. Some of you will probably feel very profound shifts from this. I can never say it's going to affect 100% of you all at the same time. But we want to do that. We want to make tonight not just education and feel good and boost your confidence, which we certainly want to do that. We also want to go to a deeper level of our beingness, our energy system. And if there's things that we can do to turn down the volume of the things that are holding us back or getting in our way, energetically, if we can turn that down, that makes it easier for us to show up more powerfully and to do the thing we know to do. And so we want to make sure we do that. So I just want to cover a couple things. I know, George, you had made several comments in here about procrastination and, things as you were growing up. And some of you have said similar things, right? And I think my wife Elizabeth had shared a little bit about this whole positive ball of energy, negative ball of energy, right? So we all have our life experiences. We've all had the stressors, we've all had the traumas, we've all had the chaos, we've all had our collection of things, right? And a lot of these become trapped emotions that our system has hung on to because we don't know what to do with it. And over our lifetime, we've had more and more and more stressors and things come into our field that are literally we're carrying around with us everywhere we go. And it's actually as we, not to get too deep, but we put out thoughts, right? Our thoughts are actual physical particles that leave the brain. And that sends signals out into the universe that determine what comes back into our life, what shows up in our life. And when we are carrying around all these life experiences, it's what we call interference. It interferes on an energetic level with what comes into our life and the action that we take, the words that come out of our mouth, how we show up on a live, Sean Marie, right? It can skew those things from the filters and from the, like my wife said, the comfort zones and the things that have established to keep us safe can dictate what we say and how we show up. So with any of these types of questions, I'm procrastinating, I'm all these things. I'm going to give you a really simple thing. Some of you are going to be like, oh, it's so simple. I'm going to start doing this tomorrow, and you're going to do it. Others of you will be like, Jeff, that's way too simple. It can't work for me. I have way too much going on. But really, when it comes down to is yes, we have procrastination patterns. We think negative thoughts. In any given moment, you have the ability to not listen to those things. You don't have to listen to the procrastination. Your brain, your mind is powerful enough. You can make the decision that I'm not going to let those things stand in my way, and I'm changing that tomorrow, or I'm changing it right now. Procrastination, I'm not going to listen to it. That thought can pop up. I'm going to eliminate it. I'm going to say, nope, no, thank you. I give it to God, right? You can do that. It works. A lot of us, though, have so much baggage we're carrying around. That's not an easy process. It wasn't for me. I've had mentors tell me that, Jeff, it's as simple as just let it go. Don't listen to them, move on. And I'm like, you're full of crap. I didn't believe it because I had too much negativity in my field. I had too much stuff that I was carrying with me to be able to move on and do that stuff. So for others of you, it can be a process. So you have a big ball of negative energy and we need to do things to start chipping away at that. So what can you do? I want to give you something to do and I want to do a brief energy clearing here before we wrap up here in the next few minutes. So with any of the things that you guys have put in the chat, what do I do about this? I'm in this situation. What do I do? One of the most profound things that you can do there's neuroscience behind it. There's energy medicine principles behind this, but it can be as simple as this. And we can, at some point, there'll probably be a module in the community that will go into this. Those of you that want to geek out and learn about all the in-depth stuff, we'll probably talk about it. When we are faced with procrastination, when we're faced with a fear, when we're faced with fill in the blank, right? The thing that is holding us back, the thing that we think is limiting us in our life, right? This could be with our money, could be our business, could be in our marriage, with our kids, our own happiness, our spiritual growth, any area, right? You can identify what it is. Could be an emotion, could be a feeling. Think about it. And then this is what Dr. Sue Morter teaches, is take it to the body. Where in the body do we feel it? And for some of you, this might be a thing you've never considered. It might take you some practice to actually go, where do I feel it in my body? But think about it. You've probably had experiences where you felt something in your throat, a lump in your throat or a tightness in your throat. Or maybe, you've thought about something and you feel like something in your solar plexus area, right? That's this intuitive thing. So when we have something that we feel like is a block, a limitation, thinking about it, what emotions come up and taking it to the body. And when we take it to the body, if we feel it in our chest or around our heart, we feel it in our throat, We feel it in our solar plexus, wherever we feel it. You can squeeze the muscles around that area, place a hand there, and then just do some up and down breathing, some breathing with it. Can start to what we call eliminate the charge. There is a charge when we have patterns that are stored subconsciously. This charge needs to be eliminated and lessened. And when that charge gets turned down, it no longer is running the show. It's no longer running the pattern. It's easier from conscious awareness to choose the path, the action, the right thought, right? But until we turn down the intensity of those emotions, it can be hard to access a more positive thought. So when you find this with your business, I'm scared to do lives, I have procrastination, I have money blocks, I have all this stuff. Where do you feel it in your body? And practice that. Don't do it once or twice, say, I can't feel it, this must not work, must not be for me. Try it for the next 30 days. Every day, feel it. This is a muscle you will build. When I first learned this, I didn't know how to do it either. Now I do it all the time. It's something that I regularly am doing. So it's something you can learn and just be consistent with it. And it can, like, again, there's very, very powerful neuroscience and all the stuff behind it as to why it works and why it is one of the most efficient ways to get out of your own way and turn down the emotional intensity of the things that are holding us back. So that is a powerful process to just do that. We'll be teaching you more things in the coming weeks and in modules. There's a plethora of tools and techniques. Some of them are energetic, some of them are more mindset techniques. But together they all work to help us move forward in a more powerful way. So, honey, any additional thoughts you want to share before we jump into doing any energy work?
I just want to tack on to what you were just saying. So, like he said, some of you may be totally new to this, and you might not, you'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean take it to my body? I don't even know I don't know. This doesn't make any sense to me. So if you don't feel anything, it is absolutely okay. That is very, 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 very normal, especially if you've never been introduced to any of this. We are not really in tune with our bodies most time. And if you think about it, like just do a simple thing really quick. I want you each to take a breath. Did anybody's shoulders raise? Did anyone go, right? That is just how, like, that is our body, like responding. That's a stress response. Okay. If you're breathing from your belly, from your diaphragm, you're in your body. But we are taught most of the time to do this, right? To hunker in, to like raise our shoulders, to like constrict. So even if you can't feel it, like he said, practice it. Go ahead and do those things, but do not stress yourself out. Do not make this another thing that you're going to beat yourself up over. Like, don't go there. So simple breath. If you just breathe, like Sean Marie, you're going to go on a live. Breathe for like just a few minutes before you go on live. Just breathe into your body. And what I like to do is I like to think about like God up in heaven, breathing from God up in heaven and bringing his love down into my heart. And then I put that down into the earth so that it grounds me, so that it makes me stable. And then I bring the love and the energy from the earth and I put it back in my heart. And then I send all that love back up to God, right? And it just creates this network. So you can just go up and down, up and down. It's called the central channel. Very simple. You don't have to feel anything. You don't have to whatever. If that's a perfect point for you to start, something as simple as that can profoundly change your life. So if you are running the procrastination, if you are running the I don't deserve this, if you are running the I'm not good enough, if you are running the I'm not capable of this, I don't know what I'm doing, anything that's running, calm the nervous system, right? Because that's where we get hung up. Our nervous system starts to go into fight or flight. We start to feel that heartbeat race, and then we just panic most of the time, or we freeze. Breathe. Breath is life. If you do not have breath, you are no longer here. So that is the simplest form that we can do for ourselves, is just strictly breathe. And if you can practice breathing from your diaphragm, from your belly, down here, If you can practice breathing from there, I don't know if you know where it is. Um, if you can practice just breathing from there, that will drastically shift your physiology. Because when we're breathing here, how do you feel? You feel constricted, you feel stressed, you feel tight, right? But if you're breathing down here, you're actually asking your body, come into my body, calm my nervous system. I am safe, right? And if you can breathe up and down that central channel and ground yourself, then that will also help you feel like, okay, I'm stable, I'm secure, I can handle this, like I can do this, I'm good to go. And so do those things. They're just simple little things that you can do. Sorry, I was reading the comment. Simple things that you can do that will just calm that nervous system, and it'll help bring you back into your body. It will help bring you back into control. So this is not running a million miles a minute, running everything. Because as soon as that happens, it's like a runaway train, right? If we don't have control over this, it can start to spiral out of our, I mean, it's like you have a car at the top of a hill, right? And it's like you tap it, it's maybe not going to go anywhere, but you keep tapping it and it's eventually just going to start to go downhill. So if you can catch yourself in those moments, just breathe. That is like a basic thing that you guys can do. So I'm going to catch up on comments here. If you have anything else, honey, I know we're past time here a couple minutes, so I want to respect that.
Yeah, totally. No, awesome thoughts. So yeah, I think really what it comes down to is doing some of these simple things. These are learning the numbers, right? We don't want to get to algebra yet. We'd love to teach you some of these things, but we need to learn how to count first, right? You know, we've got a 7-year-old, excuse me, daughter and a 10-year-old son, right? They're learning to read, they're learning numbers, they're learning all these basics, right? And for a lot of you, being that this is kind of a new realm you're stepping into, there's basics that you can learn. And some of the basics are just paying attention to your own thoughts, your own emotions, where they show up in the body, and learning to breathe. They seem like basics. That's the kind of the interesting thing. They're basics, but they're also can be the mastery level stuff too, because you can take them to a very deep level. But learning them, and that is going to start shifting that positive ball of energy and the negative ball of energy. You might have a 70% of your energy is negative and 30% is positive. Start implementing these few little basics. And as we add to them, if you watch some of our modules in the program, if you're on our YouTube channel, I posted that for one of you here. You had asked about that. You know, on these monthly lives, we're going to be giving you more and more tools that you can implement. Nothing to overwhelm you, but simple little things that you can have in your toolbox that will help shift from 70% negative to 65% and then to 60, right? Because a lot of mindset stuff is like you got to go from a lot of negativity to like all this positivity. And it's like it's really hard to make that jump for most of us. Most of us, we need to go from 70% to 69.5%. We need to slowly do that and build momentum and get to neutral first before we try to be all positive in our life, right? And it's okay that we have stress. It's okay that we have these things. It's where we're at right now. And we're giving you these tools that you can start implementing to start shifting that balance. And when you start shifting the balance, you don't have to get all the way to 70% positive to start seeing the things in your life shift that you want to see. Just by getting to 69.5%, you're going to start feeling something. You're going to start feeling momentum in your life. You're going to start feeling freer. Your thoughts are going to begin to change. The way you show up with all of this stuff, every aspect of your life, you're going to start seeing positive momentum build. And that's what we want to get you towards, is just focusing on how can I be maybe less negative and less crappy than I am right now. I'm not trying to be neutral. I'm not even trying to be positive. Can I just get to where I'm managing my stress a little bit better, 10% better, 5% better? That's momentum. That's progress. That's what starts changing beliefs, right? It's not these big, huge things. It can be, and we'll teach you how to do some of those things as you build these basics. But a lot of it is just doing the basics and making little shifts that start building big momentum. One of my mentors years ago talked about small hinges can open big doors, right? So these are the little hinges that can open big doors, big opportunities, big shifts in your life by implementing these basics. So I want to close out, spend a couple minutes doing a brief energy clearing with you guys. So we've been talking about the things that are holding us back. Many of you probably have this, like, it's like right here. I can feel it. I can taste it. I see what's going on. I'm focusing on it. It's just so big. And what do I do with it? Right. So since you're tuning into that, I want you guys to do what I've been sharing with you. First, where do you feel it right now in your body? As you're thinking about the biggest thing you feel like is holding you back right now. Could be stress. A couple of you talked about stress. Could be procrastination. Could be fear. You might not even know what label to put on it, what emotion to tie with it. Maybe it's just a feeling that you have. Maybe it's just you do just feel something in your body. Tune into whatever it is for you. Doesn't have to be the same for all of you. Tune into that. Where do you feel it? And if it makes sense, place a hand over it, squeeze that area. And I'm going to go silent for a minute. I'm going to give you guys a couple things to do, but I want you to stay tuned into that for a moment. And I'm going to give you a couple things to begin implementing. They'll be super simple. Take maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll come back and we'll see if what you're feeling right now, the emotions that you're feeling, where you're feeling it in your body has shifted. For some of you, it will. Some of you, you might not be sure, and that's okay. So give me a minute here. Keep tuning into what you feel like is the most alive for you right now, the thing that is standing in your way, the block, the whatever, and give me just a second here. All right, I'm going to give you guys, this is going to be like a combination lock of things that are going to just reduce the intensity of the emotion. For some of you, it might feel like a little bit. For some of you, it might feel like a lot. I want all of you to focus on the emotion of anxiety for a moment. Just think of anxiety. And this is the emotion that collectively all that you guys are thinking about is stored under the emotion, the frequency of anxiety. We'll touch more on that as we move along. You'll learn more about what that means and how that works. I want you to also think about the number 9. So thinking anxiety and 9. And I want all of you to take a nice deep breath, and I want you to exhale, blow it all the way out, and hold it out as long as you comfortably can. Some of you might not be able to hold it very long. That's okay. Maybe take a couple breaths, exhale out again. Just hold it out as long as you comfortably can. And those of you that might have your eyes still open, make sure everybody's closing your eyes. We'll do this for another 20, 30 seconds. Just thinking anxiety, the number 9. Holding that breath out. All right, so you guys can open your eyes, breathe normal again. So think back to what you were thinking of that I told you to focus on, the thing that was coming up the most for you in this. Does it feel different for any of you? Lighter, less intense? Where you felt it in your body, does it feel the same? Maybe does it feel gone? Does it feel less intense? Give me a little feedback in the chat, or if anybody wants to chime in on what they feel. I can't promise it's a magic wand, totally gone for everybody. I wish I could. But you're gonna notice I'm seeing lighter, yes, a little better. Awesome. So this is building momentum. So this is turning down the volume of that emotion, that pattern that's running subconsciously and energetically is probably showing up in a lot of areas of your life, right? So what this is going to look like for you guys is it feels a little lighter. It feels less. So when you now go out into your life tomorrow, tonight yet, that pattern isn't going to be running as strong. It's not going to have as much gravitational pull, right? We're going in the time right now where the astronauts are going to the moon and they're using the gravitational pull of the Earth and the moon to make their orbits and stuff, right? When we have these patterns, the deeper they are, the stronger they are. They have strong gravitational pull in a sense. So when we're feeling lighter around them, It was a 10, now it's a 7. It's going to be easier to have more positive thoughts. Those patterns and how they show up and how we take action are going to be less interfering. You're going to be able to do the things you know to do, and you're going to probably stop doing the things that you're not wanting to do, that you find yourself doing out of self-sabotage. So these are little things that we can begin doing. So hopefully that is enough to shift some momentum for you, feeling like there's something that left me, at least in part. You can feel lighter. That helps you show up. And just having the release, I'm reading a couple of you. There's a lot going on for a lot of you guys, and that's okay. And we're here to support you guys. We're here in the chat, in the school platform. Reach out to us, send us a private message. We're happy to help in any way that we can. Doing anything one-on-one, all those things we can talk about. We're here to handle this because we know this is big, right? We've done a lot of this work. It's big work. We're just starting out, and it's exciting. It can be scary too. But realizing sometimes and maybe seeing things that we've never been able to see before of what's in front of us. And it can seem big, it can seem daunting. And that's why I want to do some of this energy work with you guys tonight to try to take it down a couple notches. So it's like, okay, maybe it was really big, now it's just big. And maybe I can handle big. I couldn't handle really big, but I think I can maybe tackle this. Maybe if I reach out to Jeff and Elizabeth, maybe they give me another tool or tip for something here, maybe we can really feel good about this. And that's what we're here for. So with all that, I'll leave it up to you. Any final thoughts with you, honey, on anything you felt, anything that came up for you as we were doing that? But, just wanted to let this be a time for, getting to know you guys. Thank you for hopping on. Thank you for sharing, those of you did. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everybody. We could make this probably an 8-hour call and, powwow with everybody.
Yes.
But we look forward to, next month, second Wednesday, we'll be doing these calls and more of this. Reach out in the community. We're here to help you guys. So I'll turn it over to you, babe, and close this out.
So just the last couple final thoughts. Yeah, that's a lot. So I was tuning into the group and it was like a wall, like just kind of hit me of like, whew, all the anxiety that is being felt right now. And it's a collective thing, right? There's so much going on in the world right now. There's so much going on in our own personal lives. There's so much going on in this business realm. It just comes from all over. Some of you were saying like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I had anxiety that I needed to release. Like, and now I'm crying, and like crying is good. So especially if there are men on here, please, 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 please. If crying is needed, allow yourself grace and space, right? Hold the space for yourself. Love yourself through it. It does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you can't handle things. Nothing. Okay. Crying is actually very, very, very beneficial. Our tears have power. And so cry it out. And if you can really like allow yourself, if you have the time in this space to actually like really, really allow yourself to cry, give it to yourself. Because if we don't, and we just try to shove it down like we normally do, then it will come back up. So even if we release it, it will come back in because we're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I need to shove this down. So give yourself the grace and the space and hold love for yourself as you go through these. There may be crying, there may be anger, there may be frustration, there may be sadness. Our emotions are our guidance system. It is not good or bad. It is something to be felt and moved through. So it's to move through our body, not to attach in our body, because when it attaches, that's when we have the issues in our tissues, is what our mentor likes to say. So allow it to move through you. Do not attach to it. You might notice your mind going crazy with all these silly stories that it's trying to tell you about what it means. That's what it likes to do. Just let it go, or just observe it, okay? And just let it move through you. Water, please drink water. Sometimes when you're doing energy work, sometimes when you're moving things through, we are mostly water beings. So we need to have that flush out. Okay, I'm also a massage therapist, so water. Also, if you are called, go ground. Put your feet on the ground. Allow the ground to absorb some of those positive ions, which sounds funny, Negative ions are actually what you want. Positive ions are bad for us. So it seems backwards, but true. So it absorbs those positive ions that are actually negative to our bodies. Grounding really helps. If you want to take a shower, I am a shower girl. Like, I love showers. If I take a shower, what I imagine is all my stress, all the pressures, all the emotions, all the anxiety, all the everything you felt throughout the day, it just runs down your body. It goes away and it goes down the drain, and you send it lovingly to the earth to transmute. Okay. So those are just some really quick things. I know we are over. So thank you so much, guys. Like, it has been such an honor serving you all. We are so grateful to be here. And I'm so glad. It sounds like this was so helpful for so many people. We love this work. We love you all. It's been wonderful to get to know you a little bit here and there. And yes, we'll be here. And I was also going to say, I know there were several of you that had talked about or said, hey, I'm actually interested in what George was talking about as far as, childhood all traumas and all that kind of stuff. That is something we can go into in more in-depth conversation at a later date, because it absolutely 100% shapes and defines our mind, our bodies, our souls. There's a lot that goes into it. I have moved through a lot of this myself. And so it is deep work, and it will surface. And so if that is something you guys are interested in, just let us know, and we could actually like kind of create an entire thing just around that, because it's a big deal. And like Jeff said, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. And we are happy to help in any way that we can and to support you. Again, reach out to the community. Like, if you guys are going to go live, like, hey guys, I'm going on live in like 10 minutes. Can you guys come on and get on my feed? Or like, I haven't had any comments on this. Would someone please go in and show love? Can you comment on this? The other thing, like, watch the modules that go into like TikTok and Instagram and whatever form that you're using, whatever platform you're using. That has a lot of really good information on there that will like teach you guys what you need to be doing and how to navigate those platforms to the best use, right? So just lean into the community. Like, this is so loving, and it is a beautiful space for everybody to come in and just be raw and real together, and show up as we are, because at the end of the day, that's what we got to do, right? That's all we can do. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. It was such an honor. And again, if you guys have any questions, please let us know. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat on the group, because there are people who didn't get on tonight. So maybe they'll be like, hey, wait, what's this about? And then they can go back and see the replay. Okay.
Yep. And two final thoughts here as you were talking, honey. One, please put in the school community your takeaways from tonight. What did you learn? What cognitions did you have? What results did you have? How did this help you? We want to know. That feedback is really beneficial for us. So we know how to show up and serve you more the next time. And then along with that, if it seems like we got a really good sense of what your needs are tonight, if there's specific things that you want, we can go to Joy and say, hey, we need to do another call. I have no problem jumping on a call next week with you guys and doing this again. We are here to serve you guys. And it seems like a lot of you have a lot of things going on. Anytime we are working with clients in this space, we know everybody has a lot going on in their life, right? We all have our stuff, and we are here to serve you and help you move through it. It's sometimes hard when we have this many people on a call to get to everybody, to answer everything in the way that we want to. So I was trying to do broad strokes and give you some impactful starting points with this. But please let us know, let Joy know, post in the community. I'll put a couple prompts in there under tonight's post that I made. For those two requests. One, give us some feedback. We love that, good and bad. What you got out of it and what your needs would be moving forward. Because the childhood trauma, all those things we can get into and address. And we want to just be here to serve you guys and help you through what is for like really going on right now in your life, and help you move through that so that you can show up in the way that you want to in your life, and not have these things be such a weight and tether, and learn the lessons that came with them and just help grow and move through them. So yeah, if you guys would do both of those, we would greatly appreciate it. And that just helps us know, how to best serve you in the calls coming up. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, honey. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to throw those couple things out, but I'll let you close out here. And thank you all. Have a great rest of your night. And we'll talk to y'all soon.
I think that's it. So thank you so much again. Such an honor. We really, really appreciate it. And we look forward to the next one. So much love to you all. Have a wonderful night, day, whatever you are.
Take care, everyone.